What's up, dudes? Chooch back with another one. Today we're going to be doing a long range commute on the Inmotion v12, and I'm just going to be giving it a full send the entire way. I'm just going to be gunning it the whole entire way on a long range commute, and we're going to be going actually from one city to another city. So we're going to be going from Boulder, Colorado to Denver, Colorado, basically. And I'm not going all the way into downtown Denver. I'm going to be stopping kind of right outside of official downtown Denver in a little town called Broomfield. And so this is just kind of an idea of how fast this thing can go and how much ground you can cover on a wheel like this, and what you can expect with a smaller diameter wheel like this, and kind of the way you need to ride it on rougher roads. So this road right here in specific has a lot of damage to it, just because in the wintertime here with snow plows, everything like that, you get cracks, you get potholes, there's a lot of manhole covers and stuff on this wheel. And with the 16-inch wheels, guys, you really do need good power pads. Not trying to upsell them or anything like that, but I did notice one thing I loved about this wheel was once I got my power pads dialed in on it, I can just unweight over all those little obstacles and whatnot, and it's honestly fun to ride. Like I said before, this wheel is really unique in the way that it rides, and I would never have thought that I would go back to riding a 16-inch wheel and enjoy it the way I do. And you can tell from these videos, man, I love this little wheel right here. I love this Inmotion v12. It rides so good. It really, really does, and I have so much fun on it. I really do. Every time I go out on it, and I just enjoy everything about it. I really like the acceleration. The main thing I love about the little thing is just the acceleration on it, and that all just comes down to the way these things work. You have that motor on the inside that's not really geared or anything like that, just so and just having a small motor that powerful, it just takes off, man. And so, like, just the way it works, like just the way these things are set up, and having this big of a motor in such a small diameter wheel, you're going to get acceleration like no other wheel out there, guys. There's just nothing that compares to it in the EUC category. And if you were doing a race where you had really, really tight corners, like where there wasn't a long back stretch and it was just like a go-kart track or something like that, and like a fun park, that's where I really want to do a race for one of these wheels. Is go to one of those places where they have like putt and go-karts and all that type of stuff, and like bumper boats and whatnot. There was a place in my hometown that had one of those, and you could if we could like rent out the go-kart track, that would be really fun for a wheel like this. Like for the 18-inch wheels and the 20-inch wheels, it worked fine for having an actual racetrack, like a kart track. I mean, that was fine. But I think for these specifically, it would be fun to have a smaller track that was more technical, where you could just blast off out of the corners and really, really use the acceleration on this V12, because it is fun, man. It is so much fun. That is the main thing I love about it, is just the ridiculous takeoff speed on this thing. And I don't feel like it's gonna bog down or I'm gonna overpower it at all. And I feel like for even larger fellas out there, you can be confident in this thing on your accelerations and do very hard accelerations without worrying about it cutting out. Because I've just when I take off on this thing, I take off full send into it, and I love it, man. I love everything about the characteristics of the way this thing rides, how you can spin on it easily, the maneuverability of it. I like how it behaves in the air. Like once you get it in the air, you can really, really whip this thing around and manipulate it in the air. Once it's airborne, you can really control it, as opposed to the other wheels. So with the other wheels, there's so much inertia spinning with that tire. Once you're up in the air with an 18 to 20-inch wheel, you really don't have much control over it. But with this little thing, you get it in the air and you have complete control over it, just because like that inertia is there to keep you up, and it definitely will. Like that inertia is there to still stabilize the wheel and everything like that, but also it's just still not, it's not like a 20-inch wheel. And you got to think, like, that's 4 more inches of diameter that's rubbed off of there, and that's just a lot more, a lot less like gyro effect in the air that you have to put up with, so you can really control this thing. And this is a wheel right here that would be perfect for actually doing a jump and then throwing like a 360 and then landing it. Like, I think that this would be the first wheel. Like, I know I couldn't do it. like right now specifically, the farthest I've got is jumping, and then landing is like a really small 180. But this would be the wheel to do it. Like just the characteristics, if you can understand like what I'm saying, this thing really is controllable. Everything about it. Once you get it dialed in, at first, guys, with those higher pedals, because I put them up on the highest setting, it is a little bit squirrely. It's like, okay, yeah, dude, this thing's a little bit much. It's really fast feeling, and with those pedals up high, it's like, okay, yeah, this thing dances a little bit under me. But as soon as you get it figured out, as soon as you get those knees bent, just that perfect little bit, it's perfect. Like there's nothing, you don't get any wobbles on it. Like it's like perfect. It rides great. And it took a little while. Like it took like a week to really get used to this thing, guys. And so like if you look back at the first footage of me riding this, I was nowhere near as confident as I am on it now. And it just was because of this is extremely high pedals, smaller wheel, and I'm used to 18-inch wheels with low pedals, and like 19-inch wheels with low pedals, like the EXN, for example. Like that's just a large, big wheel with low pedals and a low center of gravity. And this is pretty much the exact opposite of the EXN in the way it's set up. And it's a huge difference. Going from this to the EXN, it's nothing bad, it's just way different. That's what I say about these wheels. And going from one to the other, the biggest thing for me is that's why you see me get on one wheel, and you'll see a lot of content from that one specific wheel. And it's just because I get on it, I get the power pad set up the way I want, and I just ride that wheel until I either mess something up on it, or either I get bored of it, and then I'll switch to another one, or if a new one comes in or whatnot, then I'll go to that one. And it's just because once you get used to a wheel, it's so hard to transition over to another one. It feels so awkward, guys. Like I've gotten so used to this thing. Any wheel I get on now, it feels so weird, man. It feels way too big and cumbersome. And this little thing just feels like a dart, man. It feels like just a little, you get on this thing, it's just full send. You got plenty of range, and it's super maneuverable, and it's plenty fast enough, because with the Sherman, guys, there wasn't many times, like having the Sherman or the EXN, there was never like many times on any ride where I'd be over 43 miles an hour for consecutive long periods of time. And so with this one, it's perfect. I really do enjoy just the form factor of it. I enjoy the lights, LEDs, the screen on it, the speakers, having all that stuff in just a nice, clean form factor for the price. Like I said, I'm still enjoying this wheel a lot. The one thing that I don't like about it, guys, the only thing I don't like about it, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, you need to run your air pressure in this thing higher. So I've dented 2 rims now on this specific wheel, and it's just and it was all doing stupid stuff, like riding hard, not stupid stuff, but just having fun on it, you know, just hitting a stair in the wrong way or hitting a jump the wrong way. But after posting the stuff on Facebook and talking to people and whatnot that have been riding these 16-inch wheels, you need to be riding about 47 psi, guys. So way higher than any other wheel. And you got to think about it. It's just because of this, guys. It's an extremely fast wheel. It's really fast. Like I said, the acceleration is extremely quick on it, and there's no suspension. And that doesn't really affect the riding characteristics much if you could bend your knees and whatnot, but there is those times where you got to think, where's that force going to go? There's just nowhere else for that force to go to but into that rim right there. And if you're running low PSI, like I like to run sometimes, like I was running like 41 PSI when I got that rim in. And you were seriously, it even says on the tire, it needs to be over 45 PSI on this wheel right here. So you need to be running like, I'd say 45, 47 PSI right in that area. And if you really want to be safe, guys, go over 50 on this smaller wheel. And you're going to have to be careful. You're going to have to be in like slick, rainy conditions and stuff like that. You're going to have to be mindful if your tire pressure is that high. And that's just one thing you have to do on this wheel, guys, because I've made the mistake twice now. So I've had to bend out a rim. E-Wheels has repaired a rim for me, and now I've got to find another one. So that's just one thing, and that's why they send these to me, to relay that information to you, so that you don't have 25 to 30 people doing the same thing that I just did, tearing up the rim on this unicycle. So you need to, that's just one thing to be mindful of. And I firmly think, now that I've done it twice, and I think I've significantly understood now that the rating on the side of the tire, guys, you need to run it in that window. It says on the side 45 to, I think, like 55 on it. So if you run it in the range, which the damn thing says, I think you should be good. So, but I would think for the Inmotion v12, for my weight, honestly, and this is way higher than any other wheel, just because, like with the Sherman, guys, you got that knobby tire, which that is like that 2-ply nice tire on that thing, which is even more cushion and whatnot. So you don't even need to run it that high in the Sherman. So I'd run like probably like 43 in the Sherman and then 47 in this. So just kind of a reference. And then in my EXN, I run, like, because the Gotway rims are typically really good, guys. So like the B-Code rims have given me less problems than any other rim. Just to let you know, guys, I've dented pretty much every single rim I have on these, and most people aren't going to have that problem. You see me, I just spike off curbs, I hit jumps, everything in between, and treat it like it's a motorcycle. You see, I got a freaking motorcycle fender on the front of it, and I don't know. It's just what happens, and I don't mind it. I'll figure out how to fix it, and I'll learn something in the process of it, and it's all good. They're making more of them every single day, and I have a blast riding it. It's just kind of what happens. So, and if you want a wheel that's not going to do that, pre-order the S20. Use the links below and pre-order the S20 or either the V-Goat Hero. That's what I would do, honestly, like straight up. If you want to go ahead and get the V12, and it seems like a great wheel for you, and you're not going to be like me, trying to hit every curb and every jump and ride it downstairs, and $2,200 is what you're looking for, and you can ride with a high tire pressure, go with the V12. But if you want to be an absolute moron and hit every jump you want to ride downstairs, and you also want to have a lower tire pressure so you can get that traction, that grip in the corners, while also being able to act a fool on it and hit every jump and, you know, not tear it up. Because that's gonna be huge, man. With that Kingsong S20 and the V-Goat Hero, and even with the S18 and the V11, you never heard of any type of cracked rims or dented rims or anything on those wheels. And it just shows the suspension works. It does what it's supposed to do. Even bottoming out suspension on those wheels, it serves its purpose. And until this point, we just have not had a performance wheel that goes as fast as most riders want to. There's not one that goes near as fast as this one right here. This is 40. This one goes 43. There's not a wheel that's even out yet that has suspension that goes near as fast as this. And so, I mean, if this thing did, you would never have a problem like that. And so that's why, definitely, if you got the back pocket for it, pre-order that S20 or pre-order that V-Goat Hero. Hit the links below, guys. I mean, it helps out the channel too, even with pre-orders. It literally gives me a $50 affiliate payment for doing a pre-order sale through there, and I greatly appreciate that. It's just for a pre-order an S20 or anything like that. You don't have to buy the V12 necessarily. And if you want the V12, like I said, I think it's a fabulous wheel. It's still one of my top favorite wheels. I just have had to learn the hard lesson. I got to run a high tire pressure in it. And I literally don't think that's a downfall. I think that is just me being the type of person I am and wanting to ride it where I can get that grip in the corners. You see it, man. I'm about to break traction even with like 41. I had 41 PSI is what I had here. I really did. I had 41 PSI in the wheel whenever I dented the rim. And that's pretty high compared to most wheels. But it's just the way it goes, guys. So I'm telling y'all, you know, exactly what you need to do to avoid that. 45 plus, and you'll be good to go on this thing. Solid, $2,200, fast as all piss. You got every type of feature you want on it. You got good lights. You got good sound on it. You got LCD display, clean form factor. Just run high tire pressure until they can get these rims sorted out and make them better. I really think there's a big market for this, guys. if there's anybody out there that owns a metal shop or in CNC aluminum, if you could make some rims for these electric unicycles, get the specifications, inlay the magnets and everything like that, and really have a thicker rim for each one of these unicycles, I think they would sell like hotcakes. Even if they were twice the weight, I really think they would, because there's riders out there like me that really, I mean, hitting curbs and stuff like that is just, it would essentially be like driving your Honda Civic into the curb at the McDonald's or whatever. I mean, it's going to chip your rim, it's going to dent it, you know, but we purposely do this type of stuff on these unicycles because it's fun. Like, bonk on a curb, if you do it the right way and you got high enough tire pressure, it seems to work most of the times on one of these, but if you just do it the wrong way one time, you might end up with a dented rim. So that's just one thing you got to consider. And I'm not going to, even though I've dented, you know, multiple rims before, I'm not going to quit jumping and doing stupid stuff like that. It's like, you can fix it most of the time with a little bit of heat and a mallet, or if not, all you got to do is find somebody that's burned up a motor, and usually their rim will be fine. So you can just reach out on Facebook to somebody, or either you can find just the rim for sale somewhere. It may take a little bit of time, but you can usually do it. Also, if you do bend a rim on this wheel, a King Song 16X rim will work fine in this. So when you're swapping it, make sure you put it in the right direction. Mark it before you take it apart. It's this wheel and the Sherman are directional. The other unicycles aren't. So if you're swapping a motor, make sure that you put it in the correct way for the Sherman and the V12. If not, what will happen is once you wire everything up and engage it, it will literally take off in reverse. I shit you not. So make sure you do that. Somebody pointed that out to me, and I think it's something unique with the 2500 watt motors in specific, where they have a direction in which the magnets need to align. So just be careful about that. Make sure you do that the right way. Just mark everything before you redo it or take it apart. But all in all, you see, like, the V12 really is impressive, and it is the most fun wheel I think I own. I seriously have the most fun on this wheel out of all the wheels, and I'm 100%. I think that you will be fine. I think you will be able to do any jumps you want to, hit any curb you want to, and still just bonk curbs and ride downstairs, but you just have to have over 47 PSI with this wheel. And that will seem high. I do think that most people can get used to it, but just take some time to get used to it. Don't go full in whenever you first get this wheel and just take off out of the door with low PSI and think you can ride it like any other wheel. Go ahead and just pump it all the way up, man. Put over 45 in it and go out and just get used to that higher PSI. And for a lot of guys, they already ride with like 45 plus PSI, so that's not a problem. It's just for lower weight guys like me, on a one wheel device like this, I mean, that's just insane, man. Like, that's really high PSI. Like, for motorcycle racing, back in the day, we didn't even run near that high of PSI in the back wheel. And I think it was like 30 in the rear. I think you ran 30 in the rear tire for like off-road motorcycle racing. And that's with 2 points of contact, guys. And so with this, it's just you're reduced to 1 point of contact. And if that 1 point of contact fails or slips, you're going down. And so that's why I've always tried to run it as low as possible, with still being able to be in that window of keeping that force off that rim right there. But that's just, I'm glad I can relay it to you. It sucks for me. I gotta find a new rim now, but definitely, guys, just keep that in mind. Hey, but at the end of the day, like I said, most people are not going to have this problem, and definitely if you watch this video and you have over 45 PSI in your V12, I think you're going to absolutely love the wheel. You're never going to have any issues with it, because this is the only one I've found with it so far. I've had no problems with the pairings. I've rode it in the rain. I've literally given this thing the ultimate torture test for people out there buying the Inmotion V12. But I can tell you straight up, the one thing I would do to it is just ride with a high tire pressure, over 45 PSI, And also, you gotta upgrade the pedals on it. Those stock pedals on it suck. So put on either the free motion pedals or get you some Clark pedals for it, and you'll be good to go. So straight up, everybody wanted me to be, more forthcoming and tell you what I don't like about the wheel. That's it, guys. That's the only things I don't like about the V12. So if you can ride, like I said, with high PSI, switch your pedals out, you got a beast of a machine right here. Absolute perfect machine. And if you want to buy any of the other wheels, pre-order the S20, anything like that, the links below help the channel tremendously, guys. From Rev Rides, from E-Wheels, from Alien Rides, and from E-Rides overseas, and all the discounts and everything of that nature is linked below, or you can hit that link tree. And I'm about to head over here, go get me some chicken wings.